Aloha, this is Ben Kaneaiakala with Phoenix Rising Addiction Center. Thank you. We are on step 3, part 5. So thank you guys for continuing to follow us on YouTube and any of our social media platforms. Please feel free to leave comments and share our channel to friends, family, whoever, treatment centers, whoever, and whatever you think might be helpful. Um, you know, that this information could be helpful for, and please feel free to share that. So we continue on step 3 about making a decision to turn our thinking and our behaviors over to a God that we've come to understand, or higher power, or being present, whatever it might be for you. So that's where we're at in the process of the steps, is the decision that we have to make on a regular basis, on a daily basis throughout the day, of whether or not I'm going to continue doing my will, or I'm going to ask my higher power to be involved in this process. So we've been continuing to talk about dependency, independence. We talked about the acid test in the last in part 4, about all we have to do is take a look in the mirror, and that should be proof enough that we haven't done a very good job at this whole thing called life, or whatever struggles or difficulties that we're having in our lives today. And again, we continue to talk about the addiction to it, or of the thinking, and how that thinking creates unmanageable behaviors. So we go into page 37, the second paragraph, and I'm gonna read. It says, should his own image in the mirror, we're talking about the acid test, looking in the mirror, should his own image in the mirror be too awful to contemplate, and it usually is, he might first take a look at the results normal people are getting from self-sufficiency. And that's what we're talking about, is self-sufficiency, depending upon me and only me. And we might think that we might trust some other people, or a partner, or parents, or whoever it might be, but we truly don't. We are truly very selfish and self-centered, and we're rooted in selfishness and self-centeredness. And so self-sufficiency, uh, are getting from self-sufficiency everywhere we see. So he might first take a look at the results normal people are getting from self-sufficiency. Everywhere he sees people filled with anger, fear, society breaking up into wearing fragments. Each fragment says to the others, "We are right and you are wrong." Every such pressure group, if it is strong enough, self righteously imposes its will upon the rest. And everywhere the same thing is being done on an individual basis. The sum of all this mighty effort is less peace and uh, less brotherhood than before. The philosophy of self sufficiency is not paying off. Plainly enough, it is a bone crushing juggernaut whose final achievement is ruin. And that's what continues to happen as long as we are relying upon just me, myself, and I. And so this isn't a decision or a process that we make just once. It is literally a decision and a process that we have to do on a regular basis, in our lives. And it's something that has to be done, you know. Or we just continue to, like what they're saying, that this is a bone self-sufficiency, or self-will is a bone crushing juggernaut. And that's what's going to continue to happen, is just more pain and more suffering to us and to other people. So I wanted to go into that. Sorry, my light went off here. So therefore, we who are problem thinkers, which we all are, can consider ourselves fortunate indeed. Each of us has had his own near fatal encounter with the juggernaut of self will, which we have, and has suffered enough under its weight to be willing to look for something better. And that's what happens, is it gets so painful, and we create not just internal consequences but external consequences, where we're getting legal problems, or relationship problem, whatever it might be. And then we start looking for help and start asking for help, which is kind of where we're at and why we're even here and studying this. So willing to look for something better. So it is by circumstance, the circumstances, rather than by virtue, that we have been driven to seek help, have admitted defeat, and have acquired the rudiments of faith, and now want to make a decision to turn our will and our lives over to a higher power. And that's where we're at, you know. And every day we're met with having to make this decision, and it can be done really simply. And steps 1, 2, and 3, in admitting complete defeat and coming to believe in a power greater than ourselves, like we're well on our way of disidentifying from the insanity of self-sufficiency or self-will, you know. And it's there is absolutely nothing wrong with asking for help, or going into a program or a 12-step program or whatever it might be, and turning over our thinking to the program for help, or to the resource for help. You know, where we all need help, you know, to some degree. And just don't shut it. Stay open-minded, stay willing. Just don't shut it with self-sufficiency, with ego. Because it truly just hurts ourselves and the ones we say we love, you know, that we don't want to hurt or bring harm to anymore. But we got to start with us. We have to start with taking a look at ourselves, and looking at how my self-centeredness or my thinking is creating so much pain, you know, so much pain within me. And one of the things that's so hard is that we don't even know that it's pain and suffering, because it's always been this way. And we're so familiar, we're so used to it, that we don't know any other way, you know. And so the first step that we need to do, which is, you know, is asking for help. And if we're drinking or using drugs, stop drinking and using drugs. We might have a level of unconsciousness already, and if you add a mind and mood altering substance to the mix, it just creates a much more acute or serious unconsciousness, you know. And so what we want to do is be open, be willing, and when we make this decision to turn our will and our thinking and our lives over to this higher power, that we just take a look at the fact that we haven't done a really good job, and it's okay. And we don't have to relabel it. We don't have to judge ourselves for it. We don't have to create new identities. We don't have to create new roles. We just need to just be. And if we don't know how to do that, continue asking and seeking help and guidance, and it will be there, you know. Kind of that old saying is, if the student is ready, the teacher will appear, type of a thing. And I found that so in my own journey, in my own sobriety, in my own recovery, you know, here on earth. So again, thank you guys for continuing to follow us. This is step 3, part 5. I'll be going into part 6 and continue to read into step 3 as we continue to explore and become more aware of some of the challenges that we're running into in our lives and in the way that we think. So you guys have a great day. Again, please, if there's any comments or suggestions, please leave them in the comments. And again, mahalo for following us.